Hello, Jon Markee here, founder and CEO of MyBuilderCPA, and I want to talk about cost code standardization with your job management software. So this can be tricky because it involves an integration with QuickBooks Online. Whenever we have an integration, there are varying levels of complexity and features available in that integration, and a lot of people misunderstand what an integration with QuickBooks means. It is not always standard across all platforms. For example, one app might report that they integrate with QuickBooks Online, but in reality, they only sync the customer and vendor lists. On the other hand, another app might promote the fact that they integrate with QuickBooks, and they only integrate with the chart of accounts. So there's all kinds of different levels of integration, and you want to be really careful about what you're selecting before you integrate it with QuickBooks. Once you do integrate your job software with QuickBooks, it's often subject to a lot of caveats and nuances that vary from situation to situation. So our first goal here is understanding your job software and making sure that it's integrated correctly. I also like to use the NAHB standard listing of cost codes, but I understand that that might not fit your business in the best way. So we're definitely open to you creating custom cost codes that are used for your purposes. And whenever possible, you'll just create a purchase order in advance so you can tell your subcontractor or your vendor exactly what you're buying. And then when we get both the bill from the vendor, subcontractor, and the purchase order, it's easy for us to match them. But in all other instances, we're going to default to the standard NAHB listing of cost codes that should somehow map into the NAHB chart of accounts. So let's take Buildertrend, for example. We want all of the cost codes to be mapped once and only once. A lot of times when we get a new client, we get in there and we realize that someone started creating cost codes without any understanding of how the consequences impact QuickBooks. So we have a list of cost codes in Buildertrend, and we have a handful of them that are actually mapped to QuickBooks. And in some other cases, we might have cost codes that are mapped multiple times to products and services or items in QuickBooks or vice versa, and somehow we have a budget or a P&L where we have duplicate transactions appearing, which is catastrophic to you when you're trying to be an effective manager of your building business. This is because you're essentially making decisions based on bad data in your financials if you have transactions that are duplicated or missing altogether. So if a cost code isn't mapped in Buildertrend, there could be transactions in QuickBooks that are related to a specific job, and they will never appear in Buildertrend because that cost code is not mapped. So at the same frequency as your transaction entry, we're going to take a look at your cost code listing just to make sure that it's standardized. Hopefully it resembles something that the NAHB would use. Hopefully it's mapped with QuickBooks and therefore reliable. So that's something that we'll be doing behind the scenes. We will reach out to you as we have questions. Sometimes we find a couple cost codes that might appear pretty similar. So we'll ask you if you want to keep both of them. And in other instances, we might find situations where we have too many transactions booked to the same cost code, and we might be better served by splitting them out. If you are working through your financials and you want to add or subtract cost codes, we greatly appreciate it if you reach out to us first so that we can facilitate that process. A lot of times we're faster than what you would do on your own, and we can also make sure that it's more accurate, and we want to understand your individual unique structure, because never have we ever come across two clients who are using the exact same cost code structure. So we have to use and learn that specific to you. As always, reach out with any of your cost code questions. Thanks and have a great day.